So we first, before we start, we want you to know this is super casual for us. We don't have like a planned presentation or anything for you. We just love the interaction in this clean eating group. And we do Zoom calls all the time with our team of coaches and sometimes in our challenge groups, but we've never done it with a clean eating group before. But we were noticing that people would go through the 7-day clean eating group and do really well and see the benefits of especially eating more veggies and staying away from sugar. But 7 days really isn't long enough to stick with it, because then all of a sudden you don't have accountability and it's so easy to fall off the wagon. So we wanted just to give you a few pointers, and some of them might seem so obvious to you. But we've been surprised that some people don't know these things. And I know when I started, I thought I knew how to be healthy because I started, Lacey and I joined our first 30-day accountability group, 4 years ago, I think. That's about what it was, right? And there are several things I didn't know because I wasn't really I never hit the gym ever. Lacey was pretty good at going to the gym. I never went to the gym. I was athletic in high school, but once I got out of high school, I didn't work out. I was all about calories and not about the quality of your food. I didn't really even think to read nutrition labels. I just was more concerned about calorie count than I was about the nutrition, the nutrients in my food, the ingredients in my food. And so we just wanted to give you a few pointers on kind of what it is that we've learned on our journey. And we're not nutritionists, we're not personal trainers, we're just kind of two hot mess moms that are trying to figure everything out. So yeah, should we just jump in with pointers, Lace, or do you have?
Go for it. No, go for it.
So my biggest point, and we hit this a lot on Strong Fit Mamas and in our 30-day groups, is we want you, first pointers, to remember that you don't have to be perfect. And it sounds silly because people are like, yeah, I for sure know I'm not perfect. But for some reason, even though we know we're not perfect, we hold ourselves to this perfection standard. If we try to eat healthy and we we have a burger or something, we're like, I cannot do this. I suck. And then we have all this negative self-talk and we give up. I'm like, I just can't do this. And I think that was such a big mind shift for me when I learned that I could not be perfect and I could still try and still see success. And I don't have to be so hard on myself for not being perfect. And because honestly, you guys, how much would it suck if you never had a burger and fries again? That would suck. Everyone likes pizza and cupcakes and all of those things. And it's okay to indulge in those things once in a while. And you don't have to think that you're a failure if you have some of that. And I hate even calling that a mistake or a slip up because food is just food. You don't have to see food as this horrible object, So as soon as you can see it as, I don't know, that you're not a failure and it's okay to indulge every once in a while, that's okay. It doesn't mean you have to give up. So it's all about progress and just getting a little bit better each day. An example, and I love the idea of baby steps too. When I joined my first group, I could not give up my desserts. From the beginning, I said, I'm not giving up my desserts. I have them every night. And like I mentioned earlier, it was all about calorie count in the beginning. And I decided I was going to dedicate 200 calories of my allotment to dessert every single night. And so I did that. And gradually I started doing, okay, now I'm going to have those 200 calories towards dessert, 3 times a week instead of every night. And then those desserts turned into healthier things like frozen grapes or strawberries with milk and a packet of stevia. And so it's all about baby steps for me. And I think that that's the way to go personally, because I think if you if you don't have anything for so long, you're going to end up just binging and eating tons and then feeling like crap and then having all that negative self-talk again. So I think baby steps is key there. Okay. So that actually wasn't even on my list. So my real first pointer is to meal plan. And that's overwhelming and daunting for a lot of people. It's something we talk about in our 30-day groups. But even if you want to just start with planning your dinners, because you guys, if you can sit down on Sunday and plan out your dinners for the week, then you already know what you're having. So when you're coming home from work or you're helping your kids with school, you already know what you're doing, and you don't have to like wait till the last minute and you don't have anything. So then you say, well, let's go grab a pizza or go through the drive-thru. If you already know what you're having, especially dinners, I think for me anyways, dinners are the worst. And if I'm going to eat out, that's the meal I'm going to eat out for. So if I have my meals planned, and if I have some of it prepped, so if I know I'm going to have rice, on Sunday, I'll make rice and quinoa or chopped veggies or get meat out that I need. If I have it already sitting in the fridge, then I don't want to go out or order a pizza because I don't want to waste the food that's already in my fridge. So it helps you financially too, because you're not eating out and you're not going to waste food that you purchase at the grocery store because you actually purchased that food with intention. Does that make sense? Because I know before I meal plan, I would just buy food and then never use it because I didn't have a meal to use it for and waste it. So, sorry, I'll skip one more and then you can do yours, Lace. My next tip is to plan your cheats. So, like I mentioned earlier, it's okay to have a burger. It's okay to have your dessert, but I suggest planning when you're going to have it. So, if you're in the habit of having dessert and you say, you know what, I'm going to have dessert on Friday night, it's going to be so much easier to say no Monday through Thursday because you know you're going to have dessert on Friday. If you just think you're never going to have it again, then you're going to have it all the time. If you're totally taking it away from yourself, you're going to eat it all the time. But if you can plan it, it's so much easier to say no when it's not time. Same thing with pizza and stuff like that. We have Fun Fridays in my family where we have pizza with the kids. I don't eat pizza every Friday, and that's not because I don't love it, because I do, but I also love Cafe Rio salads. If you don't have a Cafe Rio near you, then I'm sorry for you. Okay, so those were my main tips. Want to say yours?
Yeah, so in connection with what Allie was saying with planning your cheats, and I'm a big, every Friday night is my dessert night, either Friday or Saturday, whatever date night is. My husband loves appetizers. I love dessert. So I always plan my cheat or my dessert for that night. And I found myself for a while, then carrying it over into the rest of the weekend. So if I'd go get a bag of chocolate covered almonds, then I would eat it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I just kind of found myself kind of stuck in this habit. And so I finally learned to teach myself to leave it at the door. So this weekend we went and got frozen yogurt. So while we were in Yogurtland, I enjoyed every bite of it. But then once we walked out, I left it at the door. I was done. It was like starting a new week. And so that allowed me to just completely enjoy what I was doing and then not continually thinking about it until Monday at the new beginning of a week. So that was helpful for me in connection with planning my cheat or my treat, is to leave it at the door. And so that gives me the ability to enjoy it and then leave it. So the tips that I wanted to give to you guys were in connection to holiday parties, because that's kind of what we're in the thick of right now. It's happening all the time, and they're so fun. We all want to go. We want to enjoy the holidays. We want to be involved in these things that are happening. But it also can become so easy to get off track. And so the first tip I had for you is to eat before you go. Now that kind of sounds counterintuitive, especially when there's dinner provided or, it's a potluck, but it's, we kind of think, oh, sweet, night off, I don't need to make dinner. And we go to the party starving. And so we pile our plate full of all sorts of stuff that we know we're going to feel sick after we eat it, but we're so hungry. So what I found myself to do is I will eat something healthy before I go. I won't be completely stuffed. But I will go in once again with a plan. And so I'll eat before I go so I'm not starving. But then when I go, I will look and see everything that's there and I'll pick the one thing that I want and then enjoy it. And so that gives me the opportunity to not be thinking the entire time I'm there, I'm so hungry, I want something to eat, but I can't have that, or that's going to make me feel sick, and turn my focus to just enjoying the people that I'm with and enjoying the one thing that I decided to eat. Now, in connection with that as well, it can be so easy, especially when it's a potluck, to just kind of grab a chip here, grab a little cookie there, and just kind of pick at what's happening. And so what I like to do is I like to grab a glass of water or a water bottle and have that in my hand, so it keeps my hands busy and full. And so I can then, it kind of it helps me because my hands are full, and so I don't have to try and pick at what's there. So, sorry, I'm dying over here. So that's helped me with parties. Now, and especially now that we're going into January, which is often, our New Year's resolutions, the thing that I like to do is I used to celebrate with food, and sometimes I still do. I mean, food is a fun thing. And so that's not such a bad thing. But when you're trying to celebrate a goal and reaching, maybe you fit into your pants, or maybe you've lost a few pounds, or maybe you've accomplished, you've been able to lift so much weight, whatever it is that your fitness goals are. I used to celebrate those with food. I felt like I worked hard. I deserve A, B, and C, which was didn't really help in keeping my goals.
Now I'm going to eat a burger the size of my head.
Totally. So what I've now learned to do is to celebrate with non-food items. So to celebrate your fitness goals, I now like to either get like a new workout top, or a couple new pairs of socks, or a new headband to keep my hair out of my face for my workouts. So find those non-scale victories, and also those non-food celebration items to work towards, to keep it exciting and to keep you moving forward. So, and just like Allie said, all of it together, and I think the biggest lesson that I learned when I joined a 30-day group was that failure isn't fatal. We're all going to fail. We're all going to have weekends and weeks of complete and utter nutrition failure. And that's okay. It doesn't mean it's over. It doesn't mean that you stink. It doesn't mean that it's not for you. It just means you're human, because failing is not fatal. It's one step closer to success. Only giving up is fatal. And so when you find yourself sitting in the kitchen with a spoon in the ice cream carton and sitting there on the floor eating your ice cream, which I have totally done, don't get stuck in the failure cycle. Just learn from what is happening, pick up those pieces, and move forward, because it's one step closer to where you want to be. So that is probably the greatest lessons that I've learned, and the tips that help me the most, especially right now during the holiday time. So with
one phrase that I really like said is to turn a bad day into good data. I posted about that before, and so sorry if it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse here, but I love that, because I feel like it takes the focus off of something that you consider wrong, like the bad day, maybe all these mess ups that you had. For some reason we get caught up in all that negative self-talk and all the bad things that we did, and rather than focusing on that, you can think about turning that bad day into good data. Analyze it and own it, that it happened. Own it, you did that. And then just figure out what it is that you can do next time to prevent what happened. So analyze how you are feeling, because honestly, you guys, most of the times it's surrounding an emotion, okay? Whether you were stressed, whether you wanted to celebrate, you're angry, you got into an argument, or you're frustrated with your kids, or, usually our slip-ups are connected with emotion. So that's what I like to do, is analyze, okay, how was I feeling? And then next time I'm feeling that way, let's think of a different outlet, a better outlet. And it's gonna be different for everyone. Okay, you can grab a glass of water, you could work out, you could go for a walk, you could talk to someone, you could write down how you're feeling. There's so many different options, and you might have to try a few to see what works for you. But I love the idea and the focus of turning a bad day into good data. If takes the focus off of you feeling like you're a failure and turning it into a positive. How is it that we can adjust what happened for next time? So those are the main tips. We also wanted to, of course, extend an invitation to our next 30-day group. Oftentimes, those who go through our 7-day clean eating group want a little more continued accountability and a little more in-depth accountability, and that is what our 30-day groups are. And that's where Lacey and I started. We were invited to do this thing called the 30-day challenge group, and at first I said no. And but it changed my life and Lacey's life, and that's why we're here today, 4 years later. So the 30-day group, how does it work? It's very similar to the clean eating group. You will check in every day, but we will also be extending accountability to workouts, which will all happen within the comfort of your own home. And Lacey and I will offer motivation and tips every single day. We have specific things for specific days. So motivations on Monday, water Wednesday, meal prepping and planning. We do that together. We teach you how to do it, give you examples, and then we want you to create your own meal plans with our help. Don't freak out about that. But we want to require that because we really see that as a huge turning point in success in your health journey, is planning your meals, prepping them. So anyways, we can talk about more about this, or if you have any questions about our 30-day groups, we'd love to answer them for you here. Or we can send you more information. Is there anything else you want to add about the groups, Lace, or?
No, I think more than anything, we just kind of wanted to share with you some extra tips. Thank you so much for joining us for the 7 days. It really is such a blessing for all of us to be able to kind of be in the trenches together. And we hope to be able to continue this journey with you guys. Whether it's in a group or not, we are always here. We're always available. It's our goal to help you reach your goals and to find comfort and confidence in your own skin, because that's really what it's all about. So we appreciate you guys. We're here for anything. Go ahead, Al. No, it's okay.
Katie, did you have a question? Your screen keeps lighting up.
Oh, I don't know why it's doing that. Well, yeah, I honestly would just kind of like to know more about you guys. Like, I'm curious if you have been, what your goals are now. Like, why did you start in the first place? Because you had a baby and you wanted to lose baby weight, or were you ever overweight as an adult? If you don't mind me, so I as an adult, I've never been under 160 pounds. So I have technically always been overweight as an adult. And so I just feel like there's this mental block, I'm never not going to be technically overweight. I can't even fathom being in a place, or what food and exercise would look like to get me to that point. Mm-hmm. I'm size-wise where I was when I got married. I weighed 165. 165. I think all the weight training and exercise I'm doing now, I didn't really exercise a whole lot in college. So I think a lot of it's muscle, because I can fit in the same size pants. Mm-hmm. But so still, it puts me lots of pounds away, 20 pounds away still. And I just, I can't imagine how you even get there. How do you get the rest of the way? I went from 220 to 175 now, and I don't know how to get the rest of the way. And I honestly feel like it's not even possible for me.
Well, Lacey, do you want to go, or do you want me to go?
You can go first and then I'll add.
Okay, well, first of all, I think that in and of itself right there, Katie, is amazing. Look at the progress you've already made. That is huge, and that is awesome, and something, pat yourself on the back about. I think that rocks. And I totally understand being in that mindset where you feel like you're never going to get there. I remember after my first workout after my third baby, I sat on the floor and cried after my first workout. I mean, yeah. Not even after it, right in the middle. I just felt like there's no possible way I'm ever going to get there. And it was overwhelming and defeating and just crushing. My spirit was just deflated. That isn't where I started my journey, though. I'm trying to figure out which part of your question to answer first. Lacey and I started, like we said, about 4 years ago, and someone had approached Lacey and asked her. We had both just had babies, and someone approached her and asked if she wanted to join this group. Do you want to tell your story first, Lace, since yours kind of comes before mine, or do you want me just to...
No, yeah, sure. So I had always been the bigger one, always. I was always big, and just kind of had resigned myself to the fact that was always going to be me. So when I hear you say, I can't even fathom, I can so relate with that. I just kind of had wrapped my brain around the fact that I was always going to be bigger than everybody else, and didn't matter what I did, didn't matter how I ate, I was always the same. And it was frustrating. It it was really disheartening, and it felt like, you know, I was kind of running in a hamster wheel. And so then I had my fourth baby, and I, you know, just jumped right back into what I did with all the others. And I went to the gym, and I was running on the treadmill, and I hated every single second of it. But that's all I knew how to do. And I just was like, well, this is my life. This is what I have to do now. And so then I had somebody, like Allie said, approach me and ask if I was interested in joining a group, which I said no to, because I was like, you know, I'm already doing this. It's not working. Nothing else is going to work. But this is what my life is. This is what I do. So I said no. And then this is a little bit of Allie's story, but then I heard her talking about looking at diet pills, to which for me that like raised a huge red flag and was like, no, you don't want to do this. Yeah. I was invited to a challenge group. It's all like, you know, fitness and nutrition. We can do this together, even though we live on opposite ends of the country. If you do it, I'll do it. And after her saying no at first, she eventually said yes, which then I said yes. And so, go ahead.
Really, my part there. When Lacey had been invited, then she had called me. And when she called me, like she said, I was literally on my computer talking to her on the phone looking for diet pills when she had told me about this challenge group, this accountability group. And this was after I had my first, not even right after, maybe like a year after.
It was right after.
Yeah, it was right after Macy. That's right. So I don't know, a few months. Okay. It was a few months after Macy, my second baby, was born. And I just was just done mentally. And I'm like a happy, positive person. And I always tried not to let my physical self define me, you know? But I was at a point mentally where I just was feeling so discouraged and so not me. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. Cause it wasn't me to be so down about like my body. But it just was. Every time I looked in the mirror, sat down, or saw pictures of myself with my kids, and, you know, I just would, it was just like a blow every time. And I had been running, sort of, like, you know, I'd gone out with my friends a few times a week. Like, I couldn't even run a mile. Like, literally, I'd have to stop after a quarter of a mile. I was not a runner, but that's all I knew to do, was to run and count calories. Like, that's all I wasn't smart enough to think about looking it up, you know, or anything like that. And so I just thought naturally diet pills would be the answer, like the next step to do. And so yeah, that's when Lacey called me and said, let's do this challenge group, you know, 30 days or whatever, at home program. And I was like, no way. My husband was in school. It costs money. So the 7-day groups are free. The 30-day groups you required to purchase an at-home program. And I was like, no way. I'm not going to do that when I can go run outside for free. And then I realized, after hanging up with her and talking to my husband about it, I realized, with the help of my husband, who is the cheapest person on the planet. So I'm knowing that he was encouraging me to go through with it. I knew I probably should, but I realized what I was doing just wasn't working. You know, my jogging a few times a week and counting calories wasn't working for me, and I needed something else. And it was time to invest in my health, and I didn't know what that looked like. And so, when Lacey offered this as an option, I just thought, well, why not try it? You know, I might as well try it. I'd never lifted before, ever. And this program is called Chalene Extreme. It's a lifting program, and it scared the heck out of me because I felt like an idiot around weights. But yeah, so we joined the group. And then, do you want to keep going, Lace, or?
Yeah, I mean, and I think too that for Allie and I, it's so interesting to hear her talk. And even though I know all of this, and we're sisters, and we're very much alike, but yet we're also very different. And she's a very naturally happy, positive, upbeat person. I have to really work at that. I want it, but it's just not part of my natural demeanor. And she also, like she said, her physical appearance didn't define her. For a lot of years, that did define me, and that was really hard on my confidence. And like, I just didn't feel comfortable in my skin. And so for me, this challenge group was, I guess I realized even more so that, you know, your fitness and your nutrition isn't just about your body. It's a whole. My whole self was transformed as my body got stronger. So did my emotions, and they were more stable, and my spiritual health was more stable, and my mental health and my emotional health, like everything got stronger, got more healthy, got more stable. And I found that happy, positive, upbeat personality. And I found the ability to not feel self-conscious about me. And so it was easier to look out and see other people, and to be able to take care of them without wondering, like, is my fat poking out, or do I look weird in this, or do I sound dumb, or whatever it may be. It was a complete whole transformation for me, as it was for Allie, but just different because we had different needs. We had different struggles. We had different strengths. And so I think that's one of the beauties of this group, is that you can tailor make it for yourself, because we're all in the trenches together, but we all have different needs. And so that's why everybody's so important in this group, is because we're there to help uplift and strengthen one another when we're down. We're there to celebrate and be excited when we're up. And so it's just kind of like a whole transformation, if that makes sense. And so that was probably, that's my biggest story, is that not only was there weight loss and my body changed, but so did my mental capacity. And I was able to realize, like, I can do this. Like, this isn't just how I'm going to be forever, but I am strong, and I am confident, and I am capable, and I can do hard things, which I knew before, but I couldn't accept before because I hadn't seen myself do that. It wasn't changing, if that makes sense. But that was my biggest transformation with this group, for sure. And it's changed my life forever, not only physically, but, as a mom, as a wife, as a sister, as a friend, as me. It's changed me forever. So, Al?
I think too, something we talk for sure, transformation as far as body image with my first group. First time I lifted weights, it was the first time I ever had muscle on my body, and knowing how to lift weights and what it would do for me, and that was all great and awesome. But like Lacey was saying, my emotional and mental transformations are really what I was not expecting. I wasn't expecting anything. I didn't think I needed any mental or emotional, transformation. But I was amazed at how much it affected me. And I think this is one reason I love what we do, interacting with women who are working on their journeys, because you know what? Nobody's journey is the same. Every journey is different. There are definitely similarities that they weave through one another, but everyone's journey is so different. And there's so much beauty and inspiration that can be found on everybody's journey. And we get to witness that. Every 30 days we get a new group of women, and we watch them overcome struggles, hardships, setbacks. And that is what is inspiring. And so the reason we do these groups, it's to help people, get healthy. And that's why people are drawn to these groups. But really the core is the reason why Lacey and I do this, is because of the huge sense of self that comes from not just being in a group, because it's not like our group is a solution to all things. It's just, what beautiful thing happens when you realize you can push through a trial, a hardship, a setback, and you become stronger for it. And there's so many life analogies, that you just glean from your physical journey, transformation journey. So we could go on and on about this forever. That's kind of how we got started. To answer your questions, what do you do now? And we haven't talked that long, so I'm not completely sure of where you are, but you say you've been weightlifting, you've been working out. And so two things pop into my head. My first thing would be your nutrition. I would check your nutrition, and something that was way eye-opening to me was the portion controlled containers. I'm not pushing that on you. Please don't feel like I'm pushing that on you. But it was just really eye-opening for me to see, okay, well, I'm eating way too many starches, and I need to eat way more vegetables. And, things that are marketed as healthy that aren't healthy, starting to read ingredients.
Or even things that are healthy and too many of them.
Yeah, like you shouldn't be eating a whole avocado every day, but it's great to have a quarter of an avocado. Just little things like that were eye-opening to me, helped transform me. And the second thing I would ask, or that I would recommend, is I think going to the gym is a great solution. If that's what works for you, I think then that's awesome. I would recommend finding a structured program, whether that's with a personal trainer, someone that knows what they're doing, that's created a program for the goals you're looking for. So I know for me, I'm not a personal trainer, and I didn't have a personal trainer. So when I went to the gym, I just like putter around on I'd take a class every now and then, and I'd like use different machines, but I didn't know what I was doing or when I should do what in order to see success. So I'd either recommend finding a program with a trainer or one of the at-home programs, which is what Lacey and I, obviously that's what we use and do and have seen great results with ourselves and our clients. But either way, whether you use those programs or find one by someone who just knows what they're doing, just because we aren't personal trainers, so we need someone to tell us what to do. Mm-hmm. So those would be my first two suggestions, without talking really in depth with what your specific goals are. But if you want, we can talk deeper into that, whether I think Katie's yours, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So whether you guys talk about your goals via message or you hop on another call or something like that. But we just kept talking. Do you have any questions? Just talk and talk and talk.
Katie, did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Awesome. Okay, well, we won't keep you guys any longer, but we're so glad that we were able to talk to you and that we've been able to spend this last week with you. And like I said before, we're here, for anything that you have, any questions that you have. If you want to join us for another 30 days and really dial in and hone into your goals, then we would love to have you join us as well. So let us know.
Like, should we keep do you guys like these, or is it like, man, I could have done without it? Like, should we keep doing these live calls with our cleaning group?
I think so. I think Cindy, and I really enjoyed the call. It really gave me a few pointers, and it's good to know that I'm not the only one that's kind of suffering from this. So I think it's great.
Okay, awesome. We love seeing you guys. Yeah. So cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you. We know that you're busy with your day, and that's so nice of you to take your time out and listen to us babble about our story.
Well, thanks for doing the call. I'm looking forward to the 30-day group. I think that's going to be a great start, especially right after Christmas and the New Year. So I'm really excited about it.
Awesome. I'm excited too, if for nothing else, just to hear you talk more, because
you were too funny.
All right. Well, we will see you guys later. Again, feel free to message us if you have any questions. We're always here to help. So,
absolutely.
Thank you so much,
guys.
Yes.